What's going on, guys? It's Tom with WhatCulture Wrestling with a very quick video that I might delete depending on how it does, because I never upload videos like this and I wasn't planning on making this, but I thought I would to give my opinion on something and give some news to all of you. So if you aren't aware, WhatCulture Wrestling, the biggest wrestling YouTube channel, bar of course WWE, they had their own wrestling promotion titled Defiant Wrestling. It was originally titled WhatCulture Pro Wrestling, WCPW, we all remember it, but they renamed to Defiant a couple years ago, and they put out a tweet saying, "Today, it has been an absolutely incredible journey over the past 3 years, but it is with heavy heart that we today announce that the journey must come to an end. To each and every one of you who worked on the show, attended the show, or watched the show, thank you." For this video, I'm going to put my personal issues with WhatCulture Wrestling aside and treat Defiant Wrestling and WhatCulture Wrestling as two separate entities and talk about Defiant Wrestling closing down. Obviously, this sucks. This really sucks. I mean, just seeing any wrestling promotion close down really sucks, unless it's by, a shady promoter or if it deserved to die, but this one didn't deserve to die. I think it definitely had its place in the wrestling industry and in the wrestling business. They're really one of the first promotions to properly utilize social media and YouTube. Obviously, WWE, they use YouTube and stuff, but Defiant Wrestling was the first promotion to be built off of YouTube and make their money off of YouTube, and it was really cool to see. Defiant generally had some awesome moments. They really pulled off the Wrestling World Cup. If you don't know, they had a Wrestling World Cup a while ago and everyone doubted that they could do it, and they pulled it off really well. And the only problems there were people in the tournament who got signed to exclusive contracts to other companies, and I believe Michael Elgin double booked himself, so he had to skip. But either way, it was a brilliant tournament and they executed it so well, and the winner was Kushida, who was obviously in NXT now. When Martin Kirby finally hit the Zoidberg elbow on Joe Hendry, that was a really cool moment. Martin Kirby was almost like their Daniel Bryan. He was a great character in WCPW. And generally, it does really suck to see them go. I feel like there's quite a gap being left in the YouTube wrestling scene. I mean, there's not really any other company I can think of that have been built off of YouTube. I think definitely one of the reasons why they have died, and I'm not saying it's 100% of the reason, but definitely a big reason, is because WWE signing everyone and almost bullying them out of the marketplace. The UK scene has been heavily damaged by WWE signing a lot of people to NXT UK. I wouldn't say heavily damaged. That's quite an overstatement, because there are still companies that are allowed to use the NXT UK guys, but WCPW wasn't really one of them, and they weren't able to use a lot of the guys that were signed. And in general, a lot of the guys used were signed to NXT. People like Big Damo, aka Killian Dane, who's obviously with WWE now. He was a big star in WCPW and he had to go. But I think it's more of a problem of WWE wanting to sign everyone. I mean, they have NXT UK, there's talk about NXT Canada opening up. They're opening up a performance center in Europe, I believe. It's a very wide problem with WWE just wanting to sign every single wrestler in the world and have all these different, basically, territories. They're kind of almost bringing out the territories, but just exclusively for them. But again, I do think that's a reason, but I don't think it's 100% of the reason like a lot of people are saying. I think other reasons involve Cultaholic leaving. I think that definitely damaged it a lot, because that just lost a lot of the WhatCulture fan base in general. In fact, I stopped watching WCPW after those guys left. It wasn't really to do with them being there, it's just because, I don't know, I guess I just lost interest in the whole WhatCulture brand as a whole. YouTube monetization stops them from being able to do free shows on YouTube. As well as that, it meant, no more being recommended, putting ads on it, all that kind of stuff that really affects videos. And I think the name change, being changed from WCPW to Defiant Wrestling, it's just a simple problem. People stopped recognizing it. People didn't know what Defiant Wrestling was and didn't tune in. But yeah, that's my opinion on the whole Defiant thing, of them closing down. It really does suck. Again, I'm probably going to end up deleting this video because it won't do well. But either way, I thought I'd give my opinion on it. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Yeah, goodbye and keep on rolling.